Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is also an issue wherein people experience difficulty with reckless behavior, risk taking, time blindedness. They cannot gauge, they either overestimate or underestimate how much time a task might take.
ADHD or Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder is known to be one of the most commonly self-diagnosed disorders because of the commonality of its symptoms. What exactly is ADHD? What are its signs and symptoms? What are the causes of ADHD? And what can parents with children diagnosed with ADHD do? To talk about all this, we have with us today Mrs. Vaishnavi Madarkar. Mrs. Vaishnavi is a trauma integrative therapist and a counseling psychologist who runs her own private practice beyond superficial. Let us welcome her on our show today. Hi Vaishnavi, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Like I previously mentioned, ADHD has been one of the most commonly self-diagnosed disorders.
Right.
A lot of my adult clients come to me and tell that they have ADHD. Right. So there is a lot of lack of awareness of what ADHD is.
Right.
Could you tell us what ADHD is?
Right. So the full form of ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. This is according to the DSM, right? But it is somewhere a misnomer. It doesn't completely include the entirety or the spectrum of symptoms of ADHD. When you say attention deficit, it could be partially true. Attention deficit meaning there is a deficit of the ability to regulate attention and emotions. It is not always deficit. When there is interest, when there is novelty, there is hyper focus, there is too much attention. So it is appropriate to say that it is an issue or a situation wherein attention and emotions are not regulated or titrated according to what fits the situation.
Right. So why do you think a lot of people self-diagnose themselves with ADHD?
Thanks to internet. Thanks to everybody being a therapist on internet. Social media has its own pros and cons, right? Nowadays, everybody is a psychologist. It requires for one person to have minimum qualification of masters to be called as a psychologist, right? Now, every bit and piece of information is consumed by people, by the audience, and they kind of self-diagnose thinking that it is ADHD, which also sheds light on the lack of awareness about what ADHD exactly is. It is also essential to understand that when it comes to mental health issues, it's a broad spectrum. There are many overlapping symptoms, similar symptoms, right? So it is very important to reach out to a thorough professional who can clinically evaluate and then give out a clinical diagnosis. Until then, please do not self-diagnose. If you are self-diagnosing, means that you are already seeing certain signs and symptoms. When you do that, when you see that, when you spot that, it means it is time to reach out to a professional.
Yes. Right. So could you explain what ADHD is in layman terms and break it to the audience?
So attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, according to DSM, it has got three subtypes. One is the inattentive type dominant, one is the hyperactivity type dominant, one is the combination type. When it is inattentive dominant, there is problems with attention, sustained focus, forgetfulness, and the short-term memory is kind of difficult to retain. That is inattentive type. And hyperactivity type, it is a lot of energy, it is a lot of multitasking, and difficult to harness the energy kind of a situation. The combination type is a combination of both, wherein a person experiences issues with attention, focus, as well as too much energy. So this is just a superficial explanation, but going deeper, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is also an issue wherein people experience difficulty with reckless behavior, risk taking, time blindedness, they cannot gauge. They either overestimate or underestimate how much time a task might take. They might take too long to get ready. They might not get ready until the last moment, right? So that is called time blindedness. And there is difficulty with regulation of emotions. They are deep, passionate lovers. At the same time, when it goes the other way, it is another end of the spectrum, right? So that is with hyperactivity. Then it also is about difficulty prioritizing, difficulty in sequencing, like what comes after the other, getting too overwhelmed with a lot of paperwork. They don't know how to prioritize the papers, and it is an issue about procrastination. There is a starting point problem. Your mind tends to push away tasks that require a lot of mental energy or mental investment. So procrastination. And it is also difficulty with day-to-day life activities, executive dysfunction as we call it, right? So they might just keep forgetting things, forgetting little things. So all these put together becomes a broad spectrum of ADHD.
Click on the bell icon to watch our latest videos.